Coffee Time with Officer Fox, guest starring Officer Perryman. Sweetheart, do you need to know where you're at?
All right, so first I'll do a chase. And this one I'll probably never forget because when you work in Palo Alto, you're still doing chases, but smaller, like white people police departments um have kind of tighter constraints. Like the sergeant will call off that pursuit almost immediately. Done, we're not doing it. So when I lateraled over to Hayward, it was a different all the way around, experience for me, especially with pursuits. So I'm relatively new to Hayward, maybe 1-2 years on at the most. And it's I can't remember what the guy's running for, but we are willing to chase this guy till the wheels fall off. So it could have been a homicide, it could have been a shooting, it could have been a carjacking. It would be one of the upper echelons of I did something bad. And we're chasing him, and it just so happens I jump on an 880 from A Street as he goes flying past. And they had lost him off of a couple exits down off of Tennyson. They didn't know if he had hit the freeway. They didn't know if he had gone forward because this guy was just like balls to the wall. So I pick him up and I'm chasing him. We actually end up just like 5 cars behind me. You see CHP coming the opposite direction, just like struggling to get into this pursuit. Everyone wants this guy. And I think it was at the time when the policies were kind of changing. So they're like, oh, this is a good one. We're going to get him. And it was later at night. It's got to be close to midnight, if not after. So pretty much the roads are yours. It does get a little thick as you're starting to get toward the Coliseum, but we're headed into Oakland. And I'm thinking to myself, oh shit, like I haven't done a lot in Oakland yet, right? I've gotten close to Oakland. I've gotten into Oakland on the main streets, chasing people or, helping, but I've not really gotten deep into Oakland yet. And this guy decides to take Davis, and he busts down the off ramp and then goes deep east Oakland. So I'm feeling good, right? Second car's calling it. I'm first car. I'm chasing this guy. He's not going to lose me. And the beauty of growing up in Montana is like you knew how to drive in snow, right? So you know what it feels like when you're losing the roadway. You know it immediately. And so your driving ability, I would say, is far superior to those that maybe grew up in California or grew up in a place where they don't have inclement weather.
Yeah.
Right. So you know how to drive. Right. And you've been driving, like I had been driving since at least 13, if not before that. So, you know how to drive. So this guy's not losing me. He's doing well. Like he is full throttle. This car is moving, but there's no way this guy is going to lose me. And so I'm relying on my second car, and I'm just busting down, and we're going through all kinds of streets. And I'm like, shit, I have no clue where I am. That's okay. It's okay. I've got like 5 cars behind me, right? So we could turn right, we turn left, we turn right again. I don't know if that's exactly what we went down, but that's the scene. And all of a sudden I don't hear any radio traffic anymore. And I'm trying to put out during some smaller parts, like directions, because I'm not really seeing anybody behind me either. And I'm also trying to put out speeds. Mostly I'm putting out traffic conditions, like no pedestrians, no people on the road. And I realize, shit, like, where's my second car? As a matter of fact, where's everyone? I am alone with this guy, and we are ripping down the roadway, and he slams into a pole, and I'm all perfect. He just ran out of talent, right? I pull up behind him, I jump out of the car, and I realize I am alone. Like normally you think, it's okay. Somebody's going to come around the corner. Maybe, because it's a city, maybe they went this way instead of that way. They'll come, right? They'll see my lights. They'll hear my siren. And this was at a time, it was early 2000s, where your siren didn't turn off when you put it into park. It just kept going. They fixed that at like, I think in 2010 or something like that. But so my siren's still going. And I look at the car, and this guy's pretty much hanging out the window. The airbag had gone off. It was a newer car, and it had slammed to that pole good. I'm thinking, okay, this guy's either dead or he's unconscious. And he's kind of hanging halfway out the window. So the passenger side window. So, I mean, he hit boom hard. So I get out of the car, and, I've got my gun on him, and I see, and mind you, this is early 2000s, prostitutes on the street. I see it's Oakland, right? It's like Eads and 99th or something similar to that. And I see pimps. I see freaking druggies. I mean, they're all crawling out of the woodwork. I'm like, where the fuck did all these people come from? There was no one on this street, and I'm still alone. Well, I turn my siren off, and I hear sirens, but like they're nowhere near me. And it's Oakland. So there are no street signs. It's also Oakland. There's no cars parked in the driveway. So even if I threw out a license plate, it's either stolen or not to the right place. So these hookers, these prostitutes, I'm sorry, don't call them hookers, these working women notice almost immediately that, like, I don't know where I am. And I am literally putting that out over the radio. I'm like, look for my car. There are no street signs. Look for my lights. Look for my lights. And they're laughing. So one of the prostitutes walks up to me. I got my gun out on this guy. And she goes, oh, sweetheart, do you need to know where you're at? I looked at her and I go, I swear to God, I will never, ever arrest you. If you please just tell me what street I'm on. She does. She took pity in me. As a matter of fact, the guy that she was with was pissed at her for doing so. And just in time too, because the guy that had crashed had woken up, and he's kicking at the door to try to get out. And so I was able to put it out. Of course, the blue wave came, and we scooped this guy up. As I'm getting back into my car, she's across the roadway there. She's looking at me. She like blows me this kiss, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? For as many and during that time period, we were prostitution quite a bit. We would always, mess with them. But it was after that experience that I decided that instead of constantly arresting them or just harassing them as we do, that I was just going to start befriending them, because I was thinking to myself, and it was kind of a realization, like, who knows more about the streets than these women? Like, no one. And it really did. I was kind of pissed when everything went inside to the hotels and to the internet, because I lost a huge source of information. And I also thank God for GPS being in every car when the internet came, because without prostitutes, like when you're in Oakland, you're not going to know where you're at when you're chasing someone, or at least I'm not gonna. So I mean, that can't be my only. I'm sure there's been many a prostitute that has given many a cop an address or two. But yeah, when everybody showed up, they were like, there's no freaking. There literally is no street signs in Oakland. As soon as they get put up, they're immediately taken right back down by someone. So when you're doing a chase in Oakland, if you're not really familiar with it, you're lost. Don't lose your second unit, because it's not going to be good for you.